Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Ret-Rupee Cast featuring Dawn of War 2 Retribution. Red-Rupee here casting for you as always, and this is going to be our first game from patch 3.19. That patch just kind of ninja snuck its way in last Friday, I think on the 16th of December, and that unfortunately means I don't have any replays once again. So sorry if you guys sent me one and I wasn't able to get it up in time before this patch snuck in. I was hoping to have this weekend to do a few of those, but it snuck in on Friday instead of Tuesday like I was hoping. So anyways, here we are. We're going to do a quick 2-on-2 game. We're on the ruins of Argus, of course, looking at this top victory point right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our players. We've got on the blue team Angry Noob as our Warboss here. Orky Warboss, and then another big guy, the Hive Tyrant, on his partner, the Angry Putin. So, pretty cool color scheme. I like the white and red there. On the red team, we've got Warp Commander as our Warp Spider Exarch for the Eldar, and then his ally is Yellow Submarine as our always ominous Inquisitor for the Imperial Guard. So, I believe these guys are two, actually, the red team real quick, are RUW Debugger up here, and then RUW Pallid, I believe. I checked their aliases before. I'd like to try to know if I'm actually casting a different person, since everyone loves playing around with their Steam names so much. Let's take a look at the map for everyone who's not familiar with these 2-on-2 maps. Starting down here, you see the natural powers on either side, and separated by all these walls tend to make, like, very troublesome for like firing patterns and stuff like that. Melee units tend to like tuck away behind these indestructible walls throughout the map down here. And of course this central building, which everyone hates so much because pretty much whoever runs that building, if you can get a suppression team or garrison up with anything with decent range damage in there, pretty much controls this entire bottom 4 points right here, these 2 powers and the victory point. So keep an eye open for that building. Always want to be the first to get control of that if you can. In the center, you got the 2 natural wreck points for their team and a VP in the center, surrounded by lots of good green cover on all sides. Of course, we do have a Hive Tyrant, a Warboss, and probably some Sentinels from the IG going to be running over, probably stomping all that out anyways. Up a little further, you've got the natural power separated by these stairs. There's no real way to get up there except these 3 sets of stairs, or if you go in from back behind your base. And then moving up, you can see there's a little garrison right there on this side. There's not one on the opposing side. I've always been curious about that. And up top, we've got the last VP, and you can see these nice 3 garrisons here, which tend to be used pretty well throughout the game. A very garrison-heavy map that tends to be. So let's push the pause button, get this game rolling here, and see how it goes out. Of course, this does have 2 natural powers for both sides, assuming the bottom doesn't get locked out. So you tend to see a quicker tech to tier 2 and 3 in this match than other tier 2, other 2-on-2 matches. The maps that have like only 1 natural power node for the 2 teams. So here we've already got the Warp Spider, of course, moving into the center point, and gonna have a little battle with this Warboss here, who's chomping away with that power axe. And oh my goodness, you see, looks like Warp Commander just warped right out from under that special attack, but the Warboss gets a second one right there and does knock him off the point. And meanwhile, the Sentinels coming in. Looks like pretty standard build orders for the Team Angry over here on the blue side with 2 range squads each, Termagants and Shooter Boys. And as I was saying, the Warboss just stomping through all that cover already. And the Sentinel coming under fire. Looks like Yellow Submarine's going for that dreaded double Sentinel build that everyone hates so much. Meanwhile, Guardsmen getting forced off by Hormagaunts already. They're moving in a bit too close to that base turret, though, and get suppressed and pushed off right away. Looks like there's another hero battle going on down here. The Hive Tyrant battling with this Inquisitor. She does manage to get the VP, but she is not going to win that fight, and probably is going to have to pull back. Meanwhile, both of the Sentinels are on the field, shooting and blasting away and stomping around in big, awkward robot fashion against all these range squads, and kind of just running the field right now, trashing all the cover, blasting away, and really forcing these range squads to get out from under them. You don't want to fall victim to those stomps. Of course, they do have a reduced range now, so they're more of a definitive melee counter otherwise. Now these Guardians are a bit beat up, and they're getting caught out of position by these Sluggers. They're going to have to make a run for it, I think, either into that garrison or just off of the map in general. I never like going into a garrison against sluggers because then they'll get burners and scare you out, and then your real only option is to try to get out and retreat, and then melee is behind. Luckily, the Warp Spider came in to the rescue of those two and managed to force those off without any harm or foul on either side. So it looks like red team's already got some power built up on either side. Oh, some guardsmen getting dangerously low, meanwhile, down here on the Hormigaunt. One member remaining. And actually, it looks like Yellow Submarine has purchased a third Sentinel. That's interesting. I don't think I've actually ever seen that put to use, 3 Sentinels on the field at once. So I suppose if Yellow Submarine can micro that appropriately, it should be rather fierce. So we'll see how that rules out here in the end. And meanwhile, looks like blue team hasn't gotten any power up. They're going to be at a little bit of a tech disadvantage here to start off. But and especially with this strong opening with 3 Sentinels on the field. The only downside to this, having 3 Sentinels, is that as of right now anyways, Yellow Submarine only has 1 guard squad between the 3 to try to keep them repaired. Perhaps that's a plan with Warp Commander also having Guardians on the field to hopefully help with that repair effort. Meanwhile, a Barbed Strangler has been brought onto the field by Angry Putin, but unfortunately just doing negligible damage to this Sentinel right here. But they are going to have to back up. This one's very low. It doesn't look like those guardsmen were repairing that whole time, unfortunately. But there are going to be 3 stomps. That's going to be the power of this army, is that they have 3 stuns between the Sentinels, and then also a stun from the Inquisitor herself. I know I'm focusing down here a lot. I just want to see how this triple Sentinel works out in the end. Looks like that one is getting pretty low, but it's getting around the corner and going to be okay. Here comes another stomp, and Barbed Strangler Warrior goes down, and now the Guardians are coming in to support the Sentinels. They are all very low. This one in particular with the Hive Tyrant needs to get the heck out of there. It would be unfortunate if one of these Sentinels went down already, but I don't know. It looks like he's not paying attention. 1 or 2 more hits and that Sentinel's going to go down. Needs to be very careful with that Hive Tyrant closing in. He can retreat into the base, but it looks like that Hive Tyrant has to get out of there. It might actually cause Angry Putin his Hive Tyrant. It looks very low. 5 HP. There it goes! Oh, got a little too greedy wanting to take that Sentinel out. And, oh man, Angry Noob looks like meanwhile in all that, while both teams were focused down there. Warp Commander using a very light Tier 1 right now. Meanwhile, Yellow Submarine trucking ahead to Tier 2. Ludas are now on the field to hopefully lock down this center VP, but Slug is up there decapping, but getting shredded by some Warp Spider X-Arc fire right there. And ultimately, it looks like this is working out for Yellow Submarine. I mean, he's already teching into Tier 2, spent obviously 0 power in Tier 1. And but unfortunately, I think all his Sentinels are pretty beat up. You can see he's not even bothering to reinforce his Guardsman squad, just relying solely on his armor contingent here to force off all of the mid forces on the bottom. So right now we've got 2 Termagants and a Barbed Strangler versus 3 Sentinels and an Inquisitor. And oh my goodness, there goes 1 stomp, and I'm sure there are more to follow. And you can see kind of the pathing issue these Sentinels are having right now. They're kind of just all tripping all over each other. But with the 3 stumps between them, they probably need to save 1 for these Guardians. Like Guardian Grenades tagging a Warrior and knocking back all of those Gaunts at the end there. This Sentinel's in a lot of trouble though. Those Hormagaunts are closing in fast. Doesn't have much left. It looks like it's getting some repair at the last second to survive that last shot. And oh my goodness, it does go down. Oh no. But those Hormagaunts are dangerously low. That might cost Angry Putin another squad after trying again to take those Sentinels out. And oh, it does go down. Very unfortunate on that side. And you can see the Warp Spiders just hanging around up top, capping and decapping points all over the place, while both of the blue team members are trying to deal with this triple Sentinel threat. Luckily, they did manage to take 1 down, but Yellow Submarine's not sweating it because he hasn't been bleeding, of course, with those Sentinels, which have been bleeding off various Termagant and Hormagant models throughout the match so far. Oh my goodness, and you can see that both of these Sentinels instantly got upgraded to their missile launcher upgrade. So now just going to be blasting the heck out of those mid piles from a reasonable distance there. And there goes a double volley. Oh, right into that Termagant squad, reducing it to 140 HP right there. Not much between those members. And just some nasty looking range fire coming from those Sentinels. They will have to be careful with those big shooters moving in. But I'm just having a blast watching these Sentinels stomp around. I'm sure I would be frustrated as heck if I was playing against it, but as a spectator and an observer, it's fun to watch. So again, just missiles just barraging constantly on all of these mids while they try to bash this power down here and try to even out the stakes. You can see that the red teams managed to keep a pretty solid VP lead. They're up by about 100 VPs, and they did manage to tech ahead of the blue team as well. So that seems to be working out pretty well. Since Warp Commander went an extremely light tier 1 against this, he's already pulled some Warp Spiders onto the field, and Yellow Submarine looks like having quite a bit of wreck and power. Not sure what they're planning to build right now. Meanwhile, Warp Spiders on the field, already upgraded with Aspect of the Warp Spider, giving them their Haywire Grenade, among other things. And the Warp Spider just hopping around, harassing wherever he can. You can see he's got the improved targeters, which gives him increased range and damage. And I'm looking right now and realizing that my tooltips are again reset because of that Infernal patch. I'm sure Calaris won't be long with some support on that. And meanwhile, it looks like the Sentinels switched over to their anti-vehicle rockets and are just blasting away at this power farm down here. The Inquisitor did fall, it looks like, now it just looks like the Nids are trying to figure out how exactly they're going to approach this this Sentinel issue. Yellow Submarine choosing not to get any infantry, going straight for the Manticore now as well. And a Weird Boy on the field as Angry Noob's first tier 2 unit. War Spider getting knocked all over the place by that Weird Boy, but a bit of friendly fire as well. It looks like that Warp Spider may still be able to take out that Shooter Boy squad in the end, though. Slug is closing in on the Sentinels, but of course the Stomp mowing them down, and these, oh my gosh, these Guardsmen, I think Yellow Submarine was not paying attention. They're getting very low. I don't think they're making it out of there. Oh my goodness, actually it looks like they miraculously did with a mere 4 HP. Wow, 4 HP between 3 members. That is extraordinarily lucky for Yellow Submarine to have made it out of there. Warp Commander bringing a second Warp Spider squad. Oh, never mind, he canceled it. And the Hive Tyrant grabbing a Venom Cannon, so bringing some more range damage, I suppose, against those Sentinels. There's the first Manticore strike, and luckily Angry Putin sees it in time and retreats, so nullifies most of that damage pretty quickly. And meanwhile, the Hive Tyrant's blasting away at these Sentinels with that Venom Cannon, which now fires on the move, of course. And oh, he does take one out. He might get the second. That's 2 Sentinels that have gone down so far for Yellow Submarine. It was working out pretty well earlier. Oh, but the bunker has meanwhile gotten the medical upgrade, or sorry, the repair upgrade, not the medical upgrade. You can see Yellow Submarine dropped a bunker back here to help with the repair of his Sentinels. Of course, having this one Guardsman squad, they weren't quite living up to the workload that they had on them. Unfortunately, that second Sentinel went down just before that repair bunker went up. Of course, over here, I know I've been focusing a lot on the IG and not the Eldar and Orcs, but oh, nice looking special attack from that War Spider, spreading those Ludas all over the place, but the Guardians under a lot of fire from these Shooter Boys, and I'm not sure they're going to get out of there. They have 20. Oh, another daring escape. It looks like those Warp Spiders were under a lot of fire too, and just barely managed to get out of there. So a couple lucky breaks, it looks like, for the red team, in addition to those Guardsmen that got out earlier. Ooh, and some nasty looking friendly fire after those Warp Spiders warped out of there, hitting both the Sluggas and the Luda Boys straight on. Definitely have to be careful of the Weird Boy's default ranged attack. It can oftentimes cause more harm than good if you're not careful with its placement. A lot of people tend to like to put him on melee stance and then just use attack round to fire his ranged attack. Because, oh, and again you see he kind of hits the stairway and just knocks himself over. So very unfortunate there. Yellow Submarine has all kinds of wreck. So does Angry Putin, actually. A lot of wreck floating on the bottom 2 members of this game right now. Angry Putin perhaps waiting to go to tier 3. And Yellow Submarine, I'm not sure what he's waiting for. But who knows. Angry Noob, however, is trucking ahead to tier 3, ahead of the curve here. Oh, and a grenade followed by a Manticore strike right on those Warrior Broods. Managed to take out a single member. Not a complete waste, of course. And meanwhile, those Termagants took a lot of damage as well. Not too much happening, it looks like, up top still. I just keep seeing this either a blue or a red hero up top taking this victory point back and forth. All the action's really been focused on bottom and middle, which tends to kind of go how this game is, considering that the 2 power nodes are right here in bottom and kind of mid-top there. So Warrior drop in right there, and they're going to jump right on these guardsmen. They're not going to be able to capture that victory point, I don't think. And those Guardians are going to be under a bit of trouble. Again, just a narrow escape. Looks like Red Team's just managing to just barely get out of there time after time. And immediately getting that Adrenaline Glands upgrade on those Warriors. But 2 Warp Spider squads have moved in, and they're going to be able to put out a crazy amount of range damage, especially in coordination with the Warp Spider Exarch himself who's moved in here. And a Manticore strike, again forcing the Nids off of the field. And that's going to pretty much seal that engagement. You can see this building's taken quite a bit of abuse throughout the game already. But the victory points are just about evened out here. The Red Team's down to about a 50-point lead that is slowly draining. The Weird Boy's been doing a number on these Warp Spider squads, it seems like, and been doing a good damage and trying to keep them under control. There goes a Zap. And with them warping together like that, that's only going to help the cause of Zap, of course. And of course, I know I use of course a lot. I try not to do it that bad. Oh my goodness, a nice looking grenade, but a bit too late. Didn't quite manage to get it out. It looks like Yellow Submarine purchased another Sentinel, so that's 4 Sentinels so far that Yellow Submarine has been building. And lost 2 of them. Both of them now upgraded again with missile launchers. So pretty interesting build there. Meanwhile, Angry Putin's lost his Hormagaunts and his Termagants, is down to just 3 Warrior Broods, 1 of each type. And those missiles just causing some havoc right now. Again, the 2 Venom Brood attacks is pushing a lot of damage back. And oh my goodness, it looks like, a Manticore strike just decimated one of those Warrior Broods. I believe that was the Barbed Strangler Warrior Brood that just fell there. Unfortunately, it looks like Angry Putin was keeping track of these Venom Cannons up here and trying to take out this Sentinel, but lost track of his Barbed Stranglers, and the Manticore saw that and managed to take it out. So anyways, looking pretty much like Blue's doing a reasonable job of holding the map right now. Everyone teched up to tier 3 nice and quick. The Inquisitor hanging out with the crossbow bolt pistol. I think we saw a sail once or twice already so far. Those Warp Spiders again catching themselves a bit in trouble, warping a bit too close to the enemy. And the Inquisitor, surrounded by Sluggers using user choppers, and there she goes. Was chasing that Weird Boy a bit too hard, unfortunately. So it looks like another one of those Sentinels has fallen. That's 3 Sentinels down for Yellow Submarine. Meanwhile, Angry Noob was trucking ahead and bringing a battle wagon onto the field. Angry Putin also bringing a tier 3 unit in the form of a Lictor. And now, I don't know, now on bottom I'm just watching this Sentinel. I'm curious how many Sentinel rockets have fired in this game. Probably more than just about any other game, I'd imagine. So again, these Adrenaline Gland Warrior Broods just hacking away at those Guardians. Warpspider just hopping around, grabbing points. You can see he's decked out with his Power Blades, Phase Armor, and improved targeters right now. And just anyone's game here still. It looks like, oh, what was that? Possibly a grenade up there. I saw a lot of dead orcs. I know I'm kind of hopping around. I'm just trying to keep track of what happened where. It's always fun to watch the action, but it's a lot of the... Oh no, it's some more Weird Boy fire. Oh, luckily that stomp cleared most of those rippers away from the Sentinel. Oh, an Altark drop-in happening right down here on the Venom Brood. And the Warp Spider just tanking away, pouring fire into this Hive Tyrant. So Altark on the field, but the Lictor doesn't seem to mind. If there's a unit that can take on an Altark, it would be a Lictor. And now the Battle Wagon is on the field, taking some shots at that Altark. Looks like she's, of course, fast enough to get out of there without too much issue. And Yellow Submarine bringing yet more vehicles onto the field. I don't think he's built a single infantry squad this whole game, just besides that starting Guardsman squad going for a completely vehicle-based build. I'm not sure if that was intentional or it just kind of came up as the game progressed, but an interesting try nonetheless. So looks like this battle wagon's in a bit of trouble already. The warp spider squad's dropping a couple. Oh, and now completely disabling that. Oh, and a manticore strike combined with a lemon rust. That battle wagon needs to get out of there right now. Looks like it might be able to creep around that corner in time. But that lemon rust is still firing away at it. Oh, and it looks like it's going to get away getting some repair. Oh no, Weird Boy took a shot. Oh, and that finished it off. Oh, Weird Boy, why do you hate your own army so much? That did cost Yellow Submarine his lemon rust, as the adrenaline gland warrior broods were attacking that the entire time. But oh, I think it actually would have gotten away if that Weird Boy hadn't fired that final shot right into the rear armor of that battle wagon. Oh, that was very unfortunate. An excellent shot. Once again, that Weird Boy just kind of hammering all of its own forces, hitting that alt-target, but managed to hit all 6 of the warriors around him as well. Oh man, I think I just missed a rock strike or something over here, as there is no longer anything left for Yellow Submarine. Nothing but a sentinel and a guardsman squad. The bunker, the Inquisitor, and that manticore are all gone. Very unfortunate. I didn't mean to miss that. I never want to miss a rocks. Rocks is my favorite. Oh wow! The center building just collapsed here under the fire of those venom broods. And that's it for the Warpspider Exarch. Now both of the commanders are down for the red team. Looks like Yellow Submarine just brought back that Inquisitor after losing it to the rocks that I believe happened over there. So looks like red team's kind of fallen behind now. This vehicle build not quite working out for Yellow Submarine, as he's lost most of those vehicles that have been brought onto the field for one reason or another. But red team needs to worry about getting those VPs back now. And, oh no, that guardsman squad does go down to the warriors and pretty much everything else that was hanging out in the middle there. Looks like Yellow Submarine's trying desperately to keep this sentinel alive, but if it goes down, there's nothing more that Yellow Submarine has left. That's actually her his last squad. I say her because I think the Inquisitor, I get confused. What can I say? So another lemon rust coming onto the field. Yellow Submarine sticking strong to that vehicles only. Oh, and just as I say that, breaks it with a guardsman squad. But I feel like one guardsman squad is allowed in a vehicles only build. Inquisitor looks like she's headed down to bring that warp spider up. These Slugger boys in a bit of trouble. Oh, they do go down. Oh, and a rocket run happening right on top of all these nids. Oh my goodness. Oh, didn't take out any squads. That is perhaps due to the fact that the rockets now do 10 damage less each. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it makes a big difference, and I think it will make Rocket Run not insta-gib squads nearly as much anymore, hopefully, unless they were already injured. So it'll be interesting to see how that minor debuff evens out Rocket Run a little bit. I would have preferred maybe if they just made the indicator last a bit longer, but we'll see how the new system plays out. Other than that, it looks like the NID forces are just moving out again. Angry Noobs lost just about everything. Oh, and we see phase shift happening here. Oh, no, I was expecting maybe an Eldritch Storm there, but Warp Commander does not have the necessary red. Was just trying to kind of hold that mid army still for a little while, perhaps while Yellow Submarine got that tank in position along with the Inquisitor. There goes the first warrior. That tank's going to need to be a bit more careful now with all this anti-vehicle moving in on it. Oh, and just as the one Adrenal Gland Warrior moved in, it fell to Hammer of the Witches. But Warp Commander now bringing a Fire Prism onto the field as well. Warp Commander's only really had the Guardian Squad and the 2 Warp Spiders. The Altart got a little brazen and went down herself in an attack. Oh, and the Venom Cannon does go down. Meanwhile, the Warp Spiders were just out of the way, just in time. Actually, it looks like a couple of them still went down. That was curious. And that Battle Wagon is again disabled as soon as it came onto the field. Those Warp Spiders honed right in on it and dropped those Haywire Grenades. Of course, Angry Noob already lost one Battle Wagon, but not discouraged at all, bringing that second one right onto the field. And Angry Putin now also building a Carnifex. So you can see the VPs are neutral right now, still anyone's game. Angry Putin seems to have probably the best in the forms of any formidable army right now. And Angry Noob bringing that weird boy back onto the field as well. So now we have 2 tanks down here blasting away at this Warboss. You can see both the Fire Prison and the Lemon Rust tank heading in there. That Warboss is just going to have to get out. There's not much he can do. He'll be constantly knocked over by those. And meanwhile, in the middle, just looks like either side's trying their damnedest. Another Manticore onto the field, falling right into all of those bugs right there. Yellow Submarine does not want any infantry. I've decided that Yellow Submarine's just going for vehicles. Oh, the Inquisitor got the Warp Spider up just in time, but unfortunately happened to fall herself. The Warp Spider just barely gets out of there with 40 HP of his own. And just a lot of goofy stuff happening in this game. I've been enjoying this very much. So really, both sides are just kind of hanging out on their respective sides. The Battle Wagon doesn't want to get caught out position against these 2 tanks, and the Carnifex has to fall back as well. So it looks like the Warp Spiders are going in again. Oh man, the Weirboard kind of fired right through that wall there. The Warp Spiders are probably trying to get another Haywire off on that Battle Wagon, but didn't quite manage to do it. The Warp Spiders teleported out, but unfortunately for them, the Zap did go off. And it's causing some pretty reasonable damage to them right now. Oh, that Fire Prison needs to be very careful with both the Hive Tyrant and the Venom Cannon Carnifex takes it out. Oh, and another shot from that weird boy smashing those Warp Spiders. Oh my goodness. Looks like the blue team's securing all 3 VPs right now. Red team needs to get back onto the field and do something about that as soon as they can. Another shot. Oh, it looks like this Lemon Rust is going to go down as well. There's a lot of AV on the field. Yellow Submarine needs to be very careful. Oh, and that's it. Oh, and a Tyranniform going down there right in the base. Unfortunately, all that's really there is Guardsmen, and I think they won't be too bad off as far as the Tyranniform goes. Lots of members dying, but they all just get knocked around, and not too much happens. That weird boy taking a volley of fire and just instantly dropping. He does have a little bit less HP now thanks to that nerf he got in the most recent patch. Haywire Grenade going down, and an Eldar Call-In. Is that an Eldritch Storm right on top of this? Oh man! Oh, several shots, just taking 4 or 5 lightning strikes, and then a Manticore right on top. I don't think I've ever seen a Battle Wagon die that fast. Holy crap! That was just instant death for that Battle Wagon. So if anyone needs to know an effective use of Eldar Storm, that was it right there. Unfortunately, I don't think these Guardsmen are going to be able to take the point, and that's going to be it for the red team. Blue team has 2 out of the 3 points, and nothing hanging out up here except perhaps a Warp Spider up in this top garrison hiding from this Lictor. So as the last few points tick away, it looks like Yellow Submarine finally broke his promise to me and built a Stormtrooper squad. That wasn't a promise to me, that was just something I assumed. It was an interesting start. Unfortunately, Yellow Submarine just couldn't keep those Sentinels alive. Angry Putin went extremely heavy AV. You can see the often underused, or not underused, but it's just not appropriate in all situations. But the Hive Tyrant Venom Cannon, the Venom Cannon Carnifex, Venom Warrior Broods, and actually had quite a few Warrior Broods throughout that game. Yellow Submarine built 4 Sentinels, lost them all unfortunately, lost a Mana Core, 2 Lemon Rusts, 2 Battle Wagons died, just stuff dying everywhere this match, and that was the kind of game I was hoping to see. Lots of fun, just crazy stuff happening all over the place. Warp Commander kept it pretty light, really, just using essentially his Exarch and these 2 Warp Spider squads to run the map as best he could. But that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys next time.